All right, time to build another computer. Shocking, I know, building computers on a computer channel. How dare I? You know what else? How dare I? How dare I allow my moderator on my Twitch? Now look, my Twitch is full of some characters. Dustin, come here. This is my moderator, Dustin. This is, well, my main moderator. I've got a few of them. He's Mr. Banhammer, that's Jetman. You guys have probably had a run-in with him, and you probably hate him as much as you hate me. That's why I'm gonna give him an awesome computer so he can ban you faster.
Everybody's gonna hate me more.
That's the idea.
All right.
NZXT's build is a quick and easy way to get a new gaming computer, and right now they're proud to announce expansion and availability to Australia, the Netherlands, France, and Italy. Build a gaming PC on your budget using the built-in configurator and see exactly how your favorite games will perform. Want to build your own PC but still have the NZXT Peace of Mind warranty? Then the new BLD Build It Yourself kit has what you want. Buy it and build it yourself, and NZXT has you covered. To get started configuring or building your next gaming PC, visit the build link in the description below.
So like I said, I do have a gaming stream that's very informal. The only reason it even looks halfway professional is because he did it for me, to be honest, my overlays and stuff. He set up all my stream elements and helped me make my jump scare sounds now like plus 300 decibels. The other nights was funny. Everyone heard it through the headphones. Anyway, twitch.tv/J's2cents, check it out. We game on Mondays and Wednesdays and sometimes Fridays or the weekend, but lately I've been kind of bad at it because of holidays, but now we're getting back on schedule. Talking with Dustin, I don't know why I thought he had a much higher end computer than he actually does. So tell me about your current setup.
My current setup is a mismatch of two completely different systems. It was originally an Intel 6700 and now it's a Ryzen 2700.
Which is not bad by today's standard,
yeah.
But I mean, still it's pushing 5 years old.
And it was used when I got it.
Okay. Well, the nice thing about CPUs is used, if they work, they work. It's not like a car where there's mileage, you know, and it starts to show wear and tear. But okay, so the rest of your system?
I am running 32 gigs of EVGA memory that came out of the budget bin at Micro Center.
That was a very short-lived product line of EVGAs. They quickly got out of the memory game because they were like, you know what, let's not do this. So I know exactly what era we're talking now. This is like 2017.
Yep. Yeah, so unfortunately that memory came out of my Intel build, so it's I'm not able to use the XMP profiles or anything on my main build now because
EVGA did not do any sort of AMD/DOCP timing configurations on that. It's all Intel spec.
And my main board is a 390 Pro, I believe.
X390 Pro? Wow. Okay.
And I've got a 1070 for the win EVGA card.
Not a bad card, even for today's standards, but certain games, like you said, 2042 was having a hard time, right?
Oh, it didn't even want to run it on low.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's too bad too, because usually that particular engine is really good at being hardware friendly, but we all know how 2042 worked out. It's as unoptimized as their staff. Moving forward, I've got a system here that I think is going to definitely step things up a notch. So for the CPU, I'm going to put in a 5900X. So this is a 12-core, 24-thread Ryzen CPU. That's going to, I believe it does 4.8 gigahertz single core and like 4.4 all core, which can be overclocked. I wouldn't actually recommend it. I would just leave it. Because usually when you see this particular board doesn't do individual single core or multi-core overclocking. So if you apply like say a 4.6 or 4.5 all core, your single core will drop down to that. Okay. So I would leave, honestly, the way that the algorithm is out of the box for it, because your single core performance will be up and your all core performance at like 4.4, 4.3 is perfectly fine with the IPC that you have with Ryzen. But I'm pairing it with a Crosshair 8 formula, specifically because at some point we might do a custom loop for him, and the formula has the pre-water cooled VRMs. So this is an EK water block that's on the VRMs that's also a heatsink. So if we decide to do water cooling, it'd be neat to incorporate that. This is a Crosshair 8 formula, very high-end board, has a lot of bells and whistles that most people don't need in there. Now for RAM, you said you do things that are very RAM intensive. Is that because you're 3D printing and modeling and stuff?
So I do some CAD modeling and I do a lot of 3D printing. I do a little bit of programming. And then the other thing is I don't know what bookmarks are for my browser, so to speak. So I usually
just have a million tabs.
I currently have about 200 tabs open at the moment.
In which browser?
Chrome.
And 32 gigs gonna be enough? Okay, rather than stepping up to 64 gigs, because I don't have a 64 gig kit of DDR4, you, sir, are just gonna have to learn some memory management. But it is 4 8 gig sticks of DDR4 Vengeance RGB Pro SL, and it is a 3200 megahertz kit. More importantly, if you look at the bottom of the box, you can see this has been Ryzen certified. So he will get the 3200 megahertz on this RAM, which is obviously going to be a big step up from the current 2666 that you're running on the EVGA. So you're going to have the same amount. It's going to be faster, better, and it's pretty. It's got lights on it, right? To keep our CPU cool, we are going with the 360 AIO white edition from Lee & Lee. It's funny they call it white, really. It's just more of a bare aluminum color. And I did initially like this cooler's aesthetics when it first came out, and then it started growing on me the more we used it. But if you look, it's got this really nice aluminum side, siding on there, which goes really well with the Lee & Lee O11 Dynamic XL, which is also a white edition. So we'll be putting this cooler in there. That will keep your 5900X at its max clock speeds because it is a very efficient CPU. We don't want it to downclock. Pretty standard RM850X Corsair power supply. We had like a pallet of these, so it's just a good go-to power supply, 850 watts, which will be more than enough to power the brand new, we haven't even used it yet, the ROG Strix 3080 from Asus. This is pretty much like a bar of gold right now, because finding any 3080 in stock, not TI, not 3090, but 3080 specifically, it's very hard to find. And then for storage, we've got 2 1 terabyte NVMe P5 drives from Crucial. And then if you want, you can move over your other NVMEs into here. We're gonna install the OS on one of these drives. Okay. I'd honestly recommend maybe getting yourself an external and then maybe transferring stuff to that and then over to this, or directly to this by having an enclosure that you can plug into USB-C. But I'm gonna make him build it because, building computers is fun. And I know a ton of you wish you could build it right now.
Especially with these parts.
Yeah. See, all you have to do is endure the trolls and you get a computer like this. You know how many people in the chat are probably like, hey, we endure them too. Actually, no, Jatman's been my firewall, man. They just get mad at him and start like tagging him on Twitter and calling him names and stuff. And I'm just over here playing Phasmo, just dying and not caring. And
you should see my DMs.
I don't want to.
No one does.
All right, let's start building this. So here we are, it's all built, Dustin built it. I just helped him with a couple things along the way, like cable management, but it's not like he's ever built a computer before. But doesn't mean it's not scary to push the power button for the first time, so you push it. That pump sounds like a spinning drive.
I know, I was like, what?
Why is it blinking yellow on the RAM? All right, hey, look at that. So we need to get Windows installed. So I think the way we'll end this video real quick, we'll get Windows installed and updated, and then maybe we'll just do like one Cinebench benchmark and just to kind of see what the temps are. And then obviously, this is the part where you go and watch our video that's got over 10 million views now about how to set up all your software. After you built your tower, what do you do next? We have a video about that that's got over 10 million views that will show how to get your software drivers updated, how to get Windows updated, how to get settings in BIOS set correctly, because it's not gonna have DOCP or any of that enabled, or XMP. And then setting up all the software for like the RGB and all that stuff. So we talk about all of that in that video there. Let's get Windows in there. So I set his lights to blinky blink, no longer rainbow, but he can change them later. So I've got L-Connect installed, IQ installed, and Armory Crate installed because we have 3 pieces of RGB stuff in here. Y'all know my feelings on that. Ryzen Master is installed, updates are installed, and I have enabled PBO, or Precision Boost Overdrive. You know what I have not done yet? Which before I do this, I need to go and enable DOCP. Granted, all that works fine. We're done, and he can take it home and get it all set up to moderate faster.
So I have to deal with more people yelling at me?
Faster people yelling at you.
Twitch.tv/Jace2cents. Go tell Jetman how you think or how you feel about me. Haters are welcome.
How you feel about him getting this computer?
Damn it, you made me miss the BIOS.
I thought you were a professional.
Professional idiot. I have never called myself a professional. I've called myself an expert. I've never called myself a professional. The irony is I'm more professional than an expert because I'm paid to do this, but I don't know everything. So, ha! Blah, 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 blah. Ryzen Master's up. PBO should still be loaded. We need to load up some Cinebench here. So, multi-core, as long as this number doesn't go into the red, we're good. Pulling 166 watts. Temperature's perfectly fine. Core clock is sitting at just under 4.3 all core, which is perfectly normal for Cinebench because it is such a difficult ray traced app. Everything's good. Once that thermal paste really starts to like burn in, it'll get even better. All right, Dustin, it's yours.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let the banhammer fly for those that deserve it. By the way, twitch.tv/Jace2cents. Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific time.
Behave.
Games. Is this thing on?